Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Starting now on Primetime, beginning in July, the judiciary staffers will see a reduction in hours as a result of budgetary shortfalls. Plus, our island has strong support in its case, seeking to hold the Navy accountable for their share of dumping toxic waste at Orta Dump. And the Spanish Navy delegation visits the University of Guam for a ceremonial handover of important documents.
Hoffaday, good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. It's a report now made public in the U.S. House of Representatives Office of Congressional Ethics is not done with investigating allegations against Guam Congressman Michael San Nicolas.
It's posted on their website, a confidential report now made public about the latest with the House Ethics Committee's investigation into Congressman Michael San Nicolas. According to the report, the congressman, quote, may have omitted required information from or disclosed false information in his Federal Election Commission candidate committee reports. If Delegate San Nicolas failed to disclose required information or disclose false information in his FEC filings, then he may have violated House rules, standards of conduct, and federal law, end quote. Based on a referral from the Office of Congressional Ethics, the House Ethics Committee in March of last year established an investigative subcommittee to look into the following allegations against the congressman: that he engaged in a sexual relationship with an individual on his congressional staff, converted campaign funds to personal use, accepted improper and or excessive campaign contributions, reported campaign disbursements that may not be legitimate and verifiable campaign expenditures attributable to bona fide campaign or political purposes, omitted required information from or disclosed false information in reports filed with the Federal Election Commission, made false statements to government investigators or agencies, and or improperly interfered or attempted to interfere in a government investigation of related allegations in violation of House rules, law, regulations, or other standards of conduct. According to the report issued today, the board of the Office of Congressional Ethics, by a vote of 6, recommended the House Ethics Committee further investigate the congressman, quote, because there is substantial reason to believe that Delegate San Nicolas failed to disclose required information or disclosed false information in his FEC filings. The board also noted there is substantial reason to believe that Delegate San Nicolas accepted cash contributions that were in excess of FEC limits for individual donors and in excess of the limits for cash contributions. The board also recommends that the committee further review the above allegation concerning Delegate San Nicolas because there is substantial reason to believe that he converted campaign funds to personal use. KUAM has reached out to the congressman for a comment, but has not yet received a response.
Chief Justice Philip Carbolito has sent a memorandum to all Judiciary of Guam employees, notifying that due to budgetary shortfalls, they will be reducing work hours for all employees across the board beginning in July. This raises concerns from the 36th Guam Legislature Speaker, Therese Terlahi.
The judicial branch started fiscal year 2021 with a decrease of some $3.3 million from its original budget request. Despite implementing drastic cost-saving measures, Chief Justice Philip Carbolito announces all employees' hours will be cut in the fourth quarter. He addressed his court family, explaining the projected deficit they will endure, looking at a minimum of $700,000 shortfall. Carbolito stating in the memorandum, quote, while we hope that we can reduce the number of hours we need to cut or do away with furlough altogether, I cannot guarantee at this point that we can complete the fiscal year with a full 40-hour work week and balance the mandates required of the judiciary, unquote. Reduction in hours draws concerns as the demand for services has been heightened, explained Speaker Therese Terlahi.
The judiciary has changed its practices, so it's we are challenged to meet the demand for services now that all operations are opening again, and of course cases have been put on hold because of the pandemic, and we need them to do everything they can to catch up with the need for adjudication of all of these cases.
Speaker Terlahi chairs the Legislative Committee on Justice, and one thing she wants to ensure that comes with these cuts is prioritization.
We just hope that they're going to prioritize everything towards adjudication, everything towards what the needs are of the community, be it law enforcement, be it civil, and that those can be the priority of the court and going forward.
Chief Justice Carbolito states in the letter that the reduced hour week is a last resort option. Terlahi is hopeful it won't come down to this.
Of course, we're also hopeful that the money that Congress might be sending to different jurisdictions to ensure that they are able to cover for shortfalls in operations, that some of that money will also make it to the judiciary if needed for necessary services.
KUAM reached out to the Judiciary of Guam for an interview regarding the matter. As of news time, we have yet to receive a response. Meanwhile, the judiciary is gearing up for their virtual oversight hearing scheduled for tomorrow at 2 p.m. with the Legislative Committee. Terlahi says she does not intend to address the reduction of hours in the hearing because it is still fresh and potential relief from Congress could benefit the court's financial situation. As for what she does plan to address,
we asked the court to address, of course, their marshals, how they issue warrants. This is kind of the basis of the allegations that were made, is that the marshals had some kind of discretion in the securing of these warrants or enforcing these warrants.
Speaker Terlahi is referring to the allegations of warrants being vacated by Superior Court marshals in exchange for bribes. She has asked Chief Justice Carbolito to update the Guam lawmakers on the status of discretion with executing warrants of arrest and the serious allegations made in federal court cases.
We've brought this up with the court before and we want to follow up as to their procedures and whether they have done what's necessary to make sure that what these allegations entail cannot happen. Either they cannot happen again or that they just simply cannot happen going forward. That's one thing.
A second component, the legislator has asked the judicial branches to conduct an internal investigation into the allegations because of names being said in district court. Terlahi anticipates receiving an update on this investigation during the oversight hearing. Additionally, the Speaker has asked Attorney General Levan Camacho whether or not he is doing an investigation into the allegations.
Jerry Lee, owner of Jerry's Kitchen in Tamuning, and Inger Ogo, the facilities manager, are anxiously waiting for the police report to detail what exactly happened in the early morning hours of last Thursday. As we reported, the Asian Fusion restaurant was slammed into by a red Jeep around 1 a.m. on February 25th, leaving the business inoperable and completely totaled. GPD has classified the accident as an auto runoff crash that was not DWI related. Although, as many in the community have noted, the business is not located on the curbside of this busy intersection, whereas it's an entire parking lot away in the middle of the shopping complex. Major questions remain unanswered by GPD. KUAM was first to speak with Lee, who received word that there were 4 individuals in the Jeep and the driver is a military service member. According to Lee, he has received a case number, but officers said it would take 5 business days to issue the police report. KUAM has reached out to GPD for further details into the investigation. Sergeant Paul Tapal says there were no arrests, but a citation issued to the driver. Attorney General Levan Camacho now has some high-level support for Guam's case before the Supreme Court. Colleagues from across the country have signed on ahead of oral arguments in the bid to hold the Navy accountable for its share of the multi-million-dollar cleanup of the old Oradot dump. Nestor Elcano has more.
AG Camacho announced today that a bipartisan coalition of attorneys general led by Sinamay AG Edward Manabusan have joined him in an amicus or friend of the court brief. The 26 AGs from Delaware to Wyoming have signed on to the supporting legal motion, which the AG's office says is an indication of their strong interest in the subject matter. Guam is scheduled to appear before the High Court in April to argue its case to reverse a lower court decision that Guam can't pursue a claim against the Navy. Guam wants DOD to pay its fair share of the $160 million it costs to close Oradot and rehabilitate the land after decades of accumulated toxic waste. The Navy built the landfill after the war and eventually turned it over to GovGuam. In a news release, Camacho said, quote, "The widespread bipartisan support we've received shows that the ORDOT dump case raises issues of local and national importance. We are extremely thankful to all the attorneys general for their support, and especially General Manabusan and his team for leading the effort." For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lacanto.
AG Levan Camacho and CNMI AG Edward Manabusan will talk more about the case tomorrow on The Link. Be sure to tune in for that. Senators got the latest update on tourism recovery today in an informational hearing with the Guam Visitors Bureau. They were told that it's the job of the Tourism Reopening Task Force, which the governor has put in charge of moving the industry back toward recovery. GVB President Carl Gutierrez.
And she put together that task force that now is a standing committee at GVB, including the airport and GIDA and the Surgicel and public health. So now we are sitting all in the one room trying to make sure that we come up with the right mix of regulations so that we can be speaking, not reacting, but we are contributing.
And GVB Vice President Gary Perez says it's not enough just to tell people you're safe. We need to communicate the details of why we are a safe destination. He adds that another big hurdle is the quarantine requirements for visitors.
The one common denominator there is a simple one, which is a negative PCR test, no quarantine. We're more strict than that, and understandably so, but I think now we're in a situation where with the vaccines coming and so forth, we can get beyond that and even have a better standard than just a negative PCR test. We can even use that to our advantage, that we're even safer because it's beyond just a PCR test.
Perez says since the pandemic began, the global tourism industry has lost an estimated 1.1 billion travelers. In anticipation of the vaccination shipment arriving this week, Public Health will resume their COVID-19 vaccination clinic at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse on Monday from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Guam's March allocation will be 35,260 vaccines, the largest since the vaccination effort started in December. Only those due for their second dose of the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine will be accepted. Eligible residents are advised to make an appointment online at tinyurl.com/LiberateGU 2021. Public Health will continue weekly COVID-19 testing. The first one is scheduled for Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon at Mungmung Church. Public Health will offer up to 200 COVID-19 tests on a first-come, first-served basis. No symptoms are needed to qualify for testing. Please bring a picture ID. Only 4 people are allowed per vehicle. And then on Friday, Public Health will be at the Astimbo Gym for COVID testing. The hours are the same from 9 a.m. to noon. Again, results should be ready in about 15 minutes. As a reminder, this is only for testing. No vaccinations will be administered. Coming up on Primetime, the Guam Department of Education announces this year's Amazing Teacher of the Year nominees. And we continue our series as the University of Guam prepares to celebrate Charter Day. Those stories and more when we return.
We've all been through a lot over the years.
Typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19.
We've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years.
Calvo's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. In 1521, our ancestors watched along the shores as the Magellan Elcano expedition pulled into Umatic Bay. 500 years later, meeting with mutual honor and respect, we remember the fateful events that took place that brought together Spain and the Chamorro people, and witnessed another historic event, the arrival of the Juan Sebastian de Elcano. Tyler Mazzanati reports from the Port Authority, where the Navy vessel departed to continue its journey.
As we celebrate Mes Chamorro, we must remember the elements of Guam's history that played vital roles in shaping our culture into what it is today. In 1521, the first encounter between Europe and Pacific Islanders occurred through the Magellan Elcano expedition. 500 years later, the Navy training vessel, the Juan Sebastian de Elcano, retraces the chartered course of the first recorded circumnavigation of the world. After its historical arrival last Friday and several days in Guam's waters, the ship will continue its journey en route to the Philippines. Several of Guam's leaders and Spanish dignitaries gathered Tuesday morning at the Port Authority of Guam to bid a friendly farewell and safe navigation to the Elcano. Vice President of Comisión Historiata, Dr. Robert Underwood.
Today we engage in this commemoration in anticipation of cementing a relationship which will allow all of us to grow in knowledge and understanding and contribute to the future historical imagination.
In his special remarks, Spanish Navy Rear Admiral Santiago Barber Lopez acknowledged the Chamorro display of hospitality both then and now as a sign of strength, values, and deserving of respect and gratitude of the Spanish. Lopez also shedded light on the first encounter and how these elements of history will not be hidden in the shadows.
We know how much a misunderstanding marked that first encounter, causing undeserved harm to the Chamorro people. We very much regret that. Here today, we pay tribute to the Chamorro people, past and present.
The governor and lieutenant governor presented parting gifts of a kulu, axe, and a replica of a proa crafted by local artisans to the JS de Elcano.
These are very historical. They're very significant, and they're very important items of our culture and our tradition. And we ask you to remember us when you see these gifts from Guam.
While the JS del Elcano commander, Captain Santiago de Cosa Chuebua, presented the gift of a placard displaying an image of the ship.
The motto of this ship is Tutimus Circumvidistime. Latin is a Latin language. It means you were the first to sail around me, is what the earth told to Juan Sebastian de Elcano, which is the Spanish navigator, and the name of this ship is due to him. So we give this with very appreciation from our part. Thank you very much.
The visit of the Juan Sebastian de Elcano has allowed us all to again acknowledge and remember the events that occurred on our island 500 years ago. And as Governor Lulian Guerrero said, we look forward to the revisitation of the ship. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Mazzanati.
Thank you, Tyler. One of the 2 remaining copies of a handwritten account of the island's history has made its way to the University of Guam's Micronesian Area Research Center. More from today's tour with the Spanish delegates, Peter Santos reports.
Throughout the week, representatives have made their way around the island at various events in commemoration of the 500th anniversary of Magellan's voyage around the world. And as they get ready to set sail yet again, they've made another stop, this time at the University of Guam, bringing a pretty interesting piece of history with them. President of the University of Guam, Dr. Thomas Kreis.
A donor has made a manuscript, meaning a handwritten account of the history of Guam from 1668 until 1817. It was written by a former Spanish governor of Guam, and that manuscript has now been given to MARC, to the Micronesian Area Research Center in the library, in the RFK library here at the University of Guam.
Dr. Christ says they're aiming to make this document as accessible as they can, giving the public the opportunity to study this piece of history.
And so now it's going to be transcribed and digitized, so you'll be able to read it in its original handwritten form. It'll be translated. It'll be more useful for continuing to add to our knowledge of the history of Guam during an important period.
The manuscript donated to the university stands as one of the 2 remaining copies in existence, donated by the family of the last Spanish governor of Guam. Dr. Christ says he's hoping to exchange more than just historical artifacts.
And we've also signed memoranda of understanding to exchange between the University of Guam and the University of San Pablo CEU in Madrid, Spain. And so we look forward to being able to exchange faculty and students and participate in conferences and so on. So we do hope this will be the beginning of new connections with Spain and more ways that we can learn about one another. We're really interested in getting, once the pandemic's over, getting more student exchanges going. So we do have a number of them, but they tend to be just one student here and one student there. We'd like to see more students have an opportunity to engage in study abroad, and of course Spain would be a terrific place.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
The island's most outstanding educators gathered virtually on Zoom this afternoon for the announcement of the finalists for the 2021 Teacher of the Year. The revelation was made by the Guam Department of Education and the Foundation for the Public Education. 6 local teachers from many different walks of life, but all sharing the passion and devotion to delivering quality education their beloved students, were honored. And as for who the finalists are, here's the announcement straight from Superintendent John Fernandez himself.
Our first finalist is Ms. Nashista Benavente Delgado from George Washington High School. Right. Congratulations. Number 2, our second finalist is Mr. Van Peter Lebranda from Okudu High School. Congratulations, Van. Congratulations, Van. Sorry about that. Our third finalist, Michelle de Guzman from Liguan Elementary School. Congratulations, Michelle. Number 4, congratulations to Christine Gyanshan from Finagazan Elementary School.
Yay!
We're down to the last 2. Our 5th finalist is Dr. Benji Santiago from Agata Johnston Middle School.
Yay!
Last but not least, Mr. Seth DeRosen from Atacao Elementary School was our 6th finalist for the 2021 GDOE Teacher of the Year.
The winner of the Teacher of the Year award will be named after the next round of competition, so stay tuned. We're continuing our series on the achievements and personalities of the University of Guam in preparation for next week's 53rd Charter Day celebration. And we're having the members of our news team who are proud graduates present the stories. Tonight, our Lacey Martinez, who graduated last semester after returning to complete her studies last year, presents on the College of Agricultural and Natural Sciences, a program that has some of UOG's most popular degree programs.
It was simply the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences for many years after the University of Guam became a land-grant institution in 1972. And for many years, the university grew with the program until 2004, when then-President Dr. Howard Allen restructured UOG.
He took the old College of Agriculture and he split up the College of Arts and Sciences, took the science and the old College of Agriculture and put them together and called it the College of Natural and Applied Sciences. So I basically have been the first dean of this new college since 2004.
That's Dr. Lee Uden, who is still the dean of the College of Natural and Applied Sciences, or CNAS for short. The old agriculture focus remains an essential program that helps feed our people, and with several other programs from biology to computer science, it's proof the college has evolved and diversified. Take the biomed track, for example.
As we've talked about how well the nursing program is done, and the nursing program students have to take 3 or 4 of the classes that we offer in CNAS. But the pre-med, the biomed majors are doing remarkable work, not only when they're here as undergraduates, but they're getting into medical schools throughout the United States, vet schools, dental schools, pharmacy schools. So these are really talented young STEM majors that are doing extremely well.
This August, CNAS will launch a new venture, the first cohort of its computer science degree bridge program with the Guam Community College. Students can start at GCC for their first 2 years and transfer all their credits to complete their degree at UOG. UDIN calls it a plus plus. It's another avenue to churn out more graduates, many of who also choose to stay on Guam and contribute in good jobs.
I think what we're producing is a group of individuals that this society and the culture of Guam can be extremely proud of. I'm proud of all my graduates.
You can learn more about the diverse CNAS offerings and its outreach components at this year's virtual UOG Charter Day celebration themed Transforming Lives, Advancing Communities.
So we're highlighting beekeeping, we're highlighting what agriculture is all about, we're highlighting how to deal with food inequities, we're dealing with almost every aspect that will try to improve the lives of our community. So I invite everybody to come online to be able to see all the presentations that we have next week. In the years past, as you know, our courtyard was filled with thousands of people that were able to go from one canopy to the other. Well, this year the canopy is going to be on the virtual Zoom, so it'll be a little different, but we're still going to showcase exactly what this college is all about.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, this is Lacey Martinez.
Stay tuned. Up next, Double D with your highlights from the return of interscholastic sports.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
Dave Delgado here for In the Zone. Tonight in the show, we're going to take a look at some AAG boys high school beach volleyball from the GFA. We'll also take a look at some ESA girls high school softball from JFK. Check it out.
Friars Maroon and the St. John's Knights hitting the beach courts at the GFA to get the 2021 IIAG season underway. Alden Sampson and teammate Ethan Alvarez representing the Friars drew Alexander Stenson and Andrew McCormick for their first match of the year. Tied at 18 in the first set, the Friars went on to score 3 straight points to take the set, 21-18 off a return error by St. John's. FD led 10-6 in the second set when the Knights went on an 8-4 run to tie the game at 14. Stenson and McCormick went to work, feeding off each other's efforts, forcing a third and final set with the 23-21 second set win. First to 15 points wins the match. Knights kept it rolling in the third and jumped out to a 6-3 lead. Sampson and Alvarez rallied to tie the set at 9, but were never able to take the lead. Looking to close out the game up 13-9, St. John's McCormick found an opening in the defense and helped secure the win 15-13.
To be confident in our abilities, just play the ball until the whistle, just keep on going. Make sure to get every ball and not to really falter and just keep going even when we're down. Just stay confident in our abilities. I'd probably just say our teamwork and communication. We were talking throughout the whole game, and in that like final clutch time situation is when we really picked it up, and we really just kept on pushing forward.
Yeah, there's always a little nerves going into the game, initial nerves, but I felt confident today. I felt like we could definitely get the win, and we did. Feels good to be back. We've been waiting all quarantine for sports to come back, so it's really good to be out here and having fun again.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The Guam Developmental Disabilities Council. DD councils were established in the 1970s by the Federal Developmental Disabilities Assistance and Bill of Rights Act to advocate for change in service systems for people with developmental disabilities. There's a council in every U.S. state and territory. The council has 28 members from across the island appointed by the governor. Our members include people with developmental disabilities and their family members, as well as representatives of various government agencies and community organizations. The council works to identify pressing needs in areas such as education, employment, and transportation, and develops a 5-year state plan to address those needs through advocacy, capacity building, and systems change activities. Some of those activities are carried out by our council members and staff, while others are through collaboration with our disability network partners. Throughout the year, our council participates in meetings, outreach fairs, trainings, conferences, forums, and community projects. Much of what we do involves educating the public about developmental disabilities and supporting and empowering individuals with developmental disabilities and their families to advocate for change in public policy, so individuals with developmental disabilities can have self-determination, independence, productivity, and be fully included in the community. For more information, contact our office at 735-9127.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy March 2nd birthday to Devika Whitman. Happy birthday number 8. We love you, and please enjoy your day. Your family is sending all of their love. Happy birthday. And happy belated birthday to Isaiah Mendiola, who was born on March the 1st. Happy belated birthday to our son. We are so proud of you as you embark on a new journey this year. Your family is sending all their love. Happy birthday to the both.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
Half a day, everybody. Welcome to KUAM News Extra. In our show tonight, we've got Weekly Renewal with Claire Calvo. We've also got House to Home with Liz, Jason, and Gina. A little later, we're going to give you details about the Women's March, which is scheduled for next Monday. But first, in Health Check, here's details to Yoga Mala, scheduled for Saturday.
Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
So a yoga mala is actually a physical object. It's a garland of beads similar to like a rosary with 108 beads. And in yoga, the yoga practice, the physical aspect is only one small part of the entire yoga practice. So the yoga mala is used in meditation, and practicing the 108 prayers or mantras all in a row is a devoted offering, and it symbolizes a cycle. So you get the sense of beginning, continuing, and completion within one yoga mala, doing 108 repeated offerings of physical practice, mantra, meditation, and pranayama, which is breath. So
and you said
this yoga mala, yes. So
wow, that makes the rosary look like nothing. That makes the rosary look easy.
Yeah, it really does. But the reason why we wanted to do this event, and with this number 108, this is a sacred number in Hindu culture as well as in other cultures. But for us, it's about having a devoted practice and having a really deep practice. So you can go a little bit deeper than you would in like a 1-hour yoga class, and you can really get into the mantras, you can really get into the movements, into that place of divine connection, of a sense of self beyond yourself, which is the ultimate goal of yoga. So this is also about our traditional cultural practices and feeling that interconnection between ourselves and nature and one another through our breath, through our movement, through our prayers and offerings, which is also indigenous to us as Chamorro people. So we're just using the format of the Yoga Mala, paying homage to the yoga practice itself, but infusing it with our local culture, especially with the offering of mantra. So yeah, I'm really excited about how the event's going to turn out, because it's the first time I'm doing something like this. I've done a yoga mala on my own, and I've done like a really infused yoga workshop before with Kat Barnett and Jelena Santos, who are fellow Chamorro yoga teachers. So I'm just really excited because I think it's going to be a really transformational and really beautiful event.
No, that is very, very cool. And I know, like, when I was first getting into yoga, I remember noting some of the parallels, you know, between Hinduism and Chamorro culture on certain levels, and then, you know, even Catholicism and everything like that. It's like, you know, there's a lot of things that you can say, you know, we can draw from each other. So Katie, when you came up with you know, incorporating our Micronesian region culture here and incorporating this into traditional yoga and everything like that, was it difficult to do, or how did you kind of like structure this and try and make it? Because I can totally see when it comes to the Chamorro chanting and the breathing and really getting that sense of, you know, connecting with our ancestors, you know, while, you know, feeling that spiritual element as well as the physical.
Mantras for the Marianas was created to just actually encourage more of our Tautau to send their energy and vibrations towards healing. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the scientific part of this, because a lot of people I've talked to, they're kind of confused. They're like, how does chanting heal? How does doing mantras heal? So all indigenous cultures have used chanting in the past. Our own ancestors have used this to heal. And recently, a scientist by the name of Dr. Masaru Emoto actually proved that our thoughts and intentions can change the molecular structure of water. You need to look him up. He even has a book called The Hidden Messages of Water. And what he did is so amazing. He took 5 milliliter samples of water, and then he spoke love and healing to some of them, and anger and hate to some of them, and then he froze them. And with his microscope and his, you know, high technology, he was able to observe that the molecular structures of the water that he spoke healing and love to became beautifully crystallized, and the ones that he spoke hate and anger to became blurry and ugly. And then he took polluted water from a polluted lake in Japan, and he spoke love and healing to it, and he actually cleaned it. So this is not some make-believe thing. Like, water, he proved that water has memory. I know I don't know, there's probably kids out there that watch Frozen and they heard Olaf say water has memory and they think it's just make-believe. It's actually real.